Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to the regular meeting of the Naperville Park District Board of Commissioners. Today is Thursday, February 14th, 7 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you call the roll, please?
President Riley?
Here.
Vice President Janner?
Here.
Commissioner Carlson? Absent. Commissioner Egan?
Present.
Commissioner Ensign?
Here.
Commissioner King?
Here.
Commissioner Todd?
Here.
First up on our agenda is matters from the public. Bridget, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
We have Mr. Ron Ori.
Ron, would you please step forward?
Hi, my name is Ron Ori. I live at 1452 Knoll Drive, Naperville, and I'm here to give you some money. But first, I'm here to give you an update from a topic I discussed a couple of months ago, and I think Ray encouraged me to follow up, and so here I'm following up. And I've called the area the Nature Discovery Area, and a couple of photos there. One on the top, polyphemus moth showed up the first year we were over there. It was in 2011, I believe. And on the bottom is my niece's daughter running the labyrinth shortly after we finished up doing that. And I don't know if you can see in the background, her younger brother is being supervised by mom, and her mother, Heather, started in one of the first soccer programs with the Park District many years ago, and went on to be a star at Eastern University, becoming, I think, Athlete of the Year on her senior year there, and she was recently introduced into the Naperville North Hall of Fame as a soccer player and basketball player. So they've got a fine tradition of association with the Park District. Anyhow, as far as the area goes, we've had several recent accomplishments since we gave you the information back in, I think, October, November. We've planted some additional trees and shrubs in the woodland garden and the tree nursery for the larger trees. And some of those came right out of my yard after having grown too big for the space. We planted 500 daffodils in the woodland garden, and that should be quite a spectacular display come April, May. We've updated the inventory of the perennials and the woody plants, and that's kind of in this binder. Pass that around. I've ordered some of the replacement perennials for the idea gardens, and most recently, early this week, we received an offer of free ferns from Pizzo Nursery. They're overstock, and they knew we were working on a couple of projects, so they're going to give us about $1,000 worth of ferns that we can install, mostly in the woodland garden. They like the shade. We've several things that we're working on. We're in the midst of ordering some additional trees, either as handouts or for planting in the parks from the Million Tree Project. Last year we put 100 of those trees in, we being, I think, a group of volunteers. In the spring, we're going to assess the viability of all the woody plants that we put in over the past year, and then we'll order replacements as necessary. We'll put the perennial replacement plants in the idea garden, and then we'll put the ferns in along the bioswale in the woodland garden. So those are things in the works, and those are the plans for this spring and this year. Now to the good part. Mike, you want to accept this? Several years ago, I began providing the Park District what I call a green grant to provide some enhancements for nature areas, and there's been several projects in which my contribution has been used over the past few years. This year, as part of that understanding is that I get to designate which projects and how that money is to be used. And this year, my contribution is also to be used for the nature discovery area, and hopefully there's a couple of things that we can implement. One is to get some information like in that binder in a display fashion where we can have some self-learning right there at the site. And the other thing is to take a look at the plans as we develop Knock Park trails to perhaps put a nature loop trail into the west side of West Street. So hopefully this can help make that happen. So,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Okay, next we have updates and reports. Commissioner Carlson, any Riverwalk Commission report? Okay. Finance Committee?
The Finance Committee met Monday, January 21st, 2019 at the Naperville Park District Executive Meeting Area. Items that were discussed, first, the Financial Policies Review. Director Stanish went over proposed changes identified during the annual review of the district's financial policies. In addition to some minor changes for clarification purposes, some substantive changes include updating the reimbursement and expense policy to include a new section on reimbursement of employee expenses in compliance with the new legislation. Additionally, the fund balance policy includes an update to the golf fund policy, as this debt service will be retired in December of this year. Consistent with the Recreation Fund and to support our AAA credit rating, staff recommends maintaining a 2 to 3 month average budgeted operating expense reserve with the option to transfer excess funds to general capital. Consensus of the committee was favorable to this recommendation, and changes to each policy will be discussed with the full board at the February 28th meeting and submitted for consideration on March 14th. Next, the IMRF has reduced the assumed rate of investment return from 7.5% to 7.25% based on the recommendation of IMRF's actuaries and investment consultants. The rate reduction will increase employer costs and unfunded liabilities, but will bring the fund closer to realistic return expectations and funding levels without IMRF taking on undue risk. More to come on this, as final numbers will be available from IMRF in late March. Also, Director Stanish reported that CPI will be 1.9% for the 2020 budget year. Back to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Next we have the Parks and Recreation Committee report. Vice President Jander.
Thank you, President Riley. The Parks and Recreation Committee met on Friday, January 18th at 10:30 a.m. in the Naperville Park District Admin Building Boardroom. Director Schutz presented a capital projects overview to the committee. Part of the process will once again be a tour, likely in the August-September timeframe, to allow commissioners and staff to view the Fort Hill Activity Center studio expansion at that time. Director Wilson updated the committee on a process improvement the Recreation Department is working on to gather resident feedback on programs and facilities. The return rate has been low on our traditional program surveys, so staff is developing a page on the district website dedicated solely to gathering program and facility feedback, allowing everyone to share their experience and provide comments. We expect to roll this out and promote to residents during the winter program session. Recruiting for seasonal staff has kicked off with a job fair held in collaboration with Kids Matter at Fort Hill in early January. We are specifically trying to address staff shortages at Centennial Beach for lifeguard positions, and to date have received 30 applications. That's as of the time of this meeting. We are reaching out to local high schools and colleges, and all candidates need to follow the application process, including returning guards. Ideally, we'll start the season at the beach with 50 guards at least. Wait lists continue for the gymnastics and basketball programs, and we're working to alleviate these wait lists by exploring alternate locations and other options for expansion. The district has entered into a contract with the Bolingbrook Cricket League to manage our adult cricket league program beginning this spring. Superintendent Carlson reported that the Brooks Advantage cards are now available through the online store, with membership purchases and tournament registrations that will follow thereafter. Online sales year-to-date total about $40,000, again, as of the time of this meeting, with gift card sales up 50% from last year. Golf is also currently working with architect Greg Martin on the master plan to develop phasing and cost analysis on different project options, including revenue loss for the possible temporary shutdown of operations during renovation and improvement work. And finally, some great news. I'm pleased to report that the district submitted an application seeking $400,000 in matching OSLAD grant funds to apply towards the development of Southwest Community Park. Director Schutz and Manager Omenson made a very compelling presentation on the plan in Springfield on January 22nd, which I believe was one of the polar vortex days that we experienced around here. And we recently received word that we will be receiving this grant. So great work by both of you. Please join me in congratulating and thanking Eric Schutz and Sue Omenson for their outstanding work on this grant. These dollars will certainly be put to good use here to benefit this project, our residents, and the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Janner. And again, thanks to staff for the great work on that grant. Next is the President's report. First of all, happy Valentine's Day. Tonight, my report will be brief. I just want to remind voters that 3 seats on the Naperville Park District Board are up for election in the April 2nd consolidated election. Commissioners Rich Janner and Marie Todd are running for re-election, while Commissioner Jim Ensign has decided not to run again. I'd like to thank all 3 of them for their contribution to the Park District during their tenure. They've all been active on various committees and are to be commended for their efforts on behalf of our residents and taxpayers. Personally, I wish all 3 were rerunning, but I respect Jim's decision, and I'd like to thank him personally for his service. Thank you, Jim. The 3rd candidate, Josh McBroom, would be new to the board. While new to the Park District, he is not new to community involvement. Josh has served as a trustee for Kids Matter for almost 9 years and served as its president for 6 years. As the Naperville Park District evolves in its pursuit of its mission, Josh's experience could be a plus. I wish all the candidates well and look forward to continued progress with the top quality Board of Commissioners. Next, we have our Executive Director's report. Ray McGurry.
Thank you, President Riley. Quite a bit to talk about here. Thanks to everyone who voted in our online contest last month for this summer's Concerts in Your Park locations. The winning park locations are Century Farm Park, Queensberry Greens, Gartner Park, Walnut Ridge Park, A. George Prala Park, and White Eagle Park. Dates and performers will be announced this spring, and we look forward to a great outdoor concert season this summer across our community. As Vice President Janner mentioned, Centennial Beach currently is recruiting lifeguarding staff for summer 2019. Interested applicants ages 16 and up can apply online now at napervilleparks.org/employment. Lifeguard training is provided by the Park District beginning in early May and includes a training wage for attendance. This year, for the first time, Centennial Beach is offering the option of working as a shallow water guard or as a full facility guard. Leadership positions with higher pay are also available. And something to mention about the shallow water guard position, I guess we go for both positions. I talked with several people last year at the beach, many of them that are in their 50s, early 60s, retired, in great shape, and I believe many of them are going to be putting in applications to work down at the beach. So I would encourage them, if they're watching this or hearing this, to please do so. I think that'd be a great thing for the culture of our employees down there. The Park District recently released a new series of episodes on our Park Talk podcast. The new episodes highlight recent accomplishments and what's new at the Park District in 2019. Find out more about the large capital projects coming this year, how the parks are using green practices, what's new at our golf courses, employment opportunities, and behind-the-scenes look at the success of the Fort Hill Activity Center. Search for Park Talk Podcast on Apple, Google, or SoundCloud, or find it on our website at napervilleparks.org. The Naperville Parks Foundation supports the Park District's mission and continues to raise funds for our fee assistance program for individuals and families that are in need. The foundation once again will receive a portion of the proceeds of the 6th Annual Winter Ale Fest at Frontier Sports Complex, which is next Saturday, February 23rd. For tickets information, please go to the website napervillealefest.com to purchase your tickets. The Spring 2019 Program Guide and Summer Camps Guide will be delivered to Naperville residents beginning February 27th. Registration for spring programs and camps begin March 4th, and registration for baseball and softball begin March 12th. Watch for your edition of the Spring Program Guide delivered to your doorstep, or visit napervilleparks.org beginning February 25th to view the program guide online. And finally, the Park District provides recreation fee assistance, as I mentioned earlier, to individual or families who are experiencing financial hardship. Information about this program is available online at napervilleparks.org. The next restaurant fundraiser to support this program is Thursday, February 21st at the California Pizza Kitchen. A portion of the proceeds from each dining check will be donated to our fee assistance program. Visit napervilleparks.org/fundraisers to print the event flyer or save it to your smartphone. Diners will need to present the flyer or show it on their phones in order for the Park District to receive credit. Thank you.
Thank you, Executive Director McGurry. Next, we have our consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mike.
Someone?
Treasurer's report.
Go back to the treasurer's report.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I did miss the monthly treasurer's report.
Move to approve the December 2018 treasurer's report.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Vice President Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ensign,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
President Riley.
Yes. Now we'll go on to the consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mike, can we pull 6.1 and 6.9?
Move to accept consent agenda items 6.2 through 6.8 and 6.10 through 6.11.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Vice President Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
Aye.
Commissioner Ensign,
Yes.
Commissioner King,
Yes.
President Riley.
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items as accepted.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
On to unfinished business. Move to approve consent agenda item 6.1, January 2019 disbursements in the amount of $4,274,051.30.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion on the motion. Commissioner Egan?
Thank you. Call me incorrigible, but I find it unconscionable to have raises at twice the rate of our new money, so I'll be voting no.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Vice President Janner,
Yes.
Commissioner Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Egan,
No.
Commissioner Ensign, Commissioner King,
Yes.
President Riley.
Yes.
Move to approve agenda item 6.9, purchase of two 2019 Toro Procore turf aerifiers for golf operations through the National Intergovernmental Purchasing Alliance for an amount not to exceed $46,006.51.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Regan?
If we only had one golf course, this cost would be cut in half, so I'll be voting no.
Any further discussion? Bridget, call the roll, please.
Vice President Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan? Commissioner Ensign? Commissioner King?
Yes.
President Riley?
Yes. Next item on our agenda is future meetings. Next will be a regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners, February 28th, 2019, 6:30 p.m. at the Fort Hill Activity Center, followed by a regular meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners, March 14th, 7 p.m. here. Next item on our agenda is executive session.
Move to adjourn to executive session to discuss personnel under 2C1 and litigation under 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Bridget, call the roll, please.
Vice President Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner King?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Egan?
No.
Commissioner Ensign?
Yes.
Commissioner Todd?
Yes.
President Riley?
Yes.